What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Couch Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about 2023 RBs, the RB class. And I have a gripe. I don't get what's going on. I feel like one player is getting disrespected, and I feel like there's only one reason, like reason in quotation marks. Um, I mean, it is a question mark. I don't know if this reason is valid enough for us to dismiss this running back and put him like 10 spots lower than maybe he should be. For those of you live, what's going on? Just want to say what's up to everybody. Drop a comment. Let me know you're alive. Let me know you're watching. What's up to everybody? We should have my co-host here, Sushane, aka the Dynasty Day Trader, joining shortly. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see if he is going to join. He's sending me something right now, a visual aid. Okay. Got it. All right, we'll bring that up. And I can't stop talking about quarterbacks either. So this is an RB podcast, but oh boy, these quarterbacks, they are on my mind every day, and I can't get them out of my mind about just how crazy this class is and just how much of a debate we got. Who's going to get drafted first overall? Who do you draft first overall in Dynasty Fantasy Football? So on and so forth. And it's just such a question, such polarizing players. What's up? We got Goompy in the building. What's up, Goompy? The freak 49ers fan in the building. What's up? So like Anthony Richardson, he can't really throw, not really a good passer, might not be a starter in the league for multiple years, might not be that franchise quarterback, yet he could be one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, at least in terms of fantasy, at least in terms of just being a nightmare for defenses to defend. We know teams don't want to look stupid and risk a Lamar Jackson being drafted in round 2. Talking about the real NFL draft where he almost fell to day 2 and the Ravens traded up to go get him. The last pick of day 1, going 32nd overall. NFL teams don't want to be stupid like that again. They don't want to make that same mistake. So Anthony Richardson could easily be drafted in the top 4. And with this insane athleticism, could easily have one or more seasons where he finishes as the best QB in fantasy. I'm terrified of him. And then you have the Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud debate. I still don't know who to draft. I said Bryce Young yesterday and 2 days ago. I switched from CJ Stroud to Bryce Young. And now I'm switching back to CJ Stroud today. Like, I seriously have done this. So I've answered I took the quiz how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And I've answered CJ Stroud every time, except the third time I answered Bryce Young. That's who I'm taking as my first quarterback off the board in Dynasty. It's pretty scary. It's pretty polarizing. You also have Will Levis, very polarizing player. And I compare this year's QB draft class a lot to the one with what year is that with Baker? Is that 2019? The one with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson and am I going to mix up Josh Rosen and Josh Allen? Those are all in the same draft class, right? Was that 2019? Baker Mayfield. Let's bring this up. Let's Google some stuff here. Just want to make sure I got this right. 2018. That's the 2018 NFL draft class. 2018. Yeah, it's got Lamar. Yeah, Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and then scrolling all the way down to Lamar Jackson. Yeah, 5 QBs going in round 1. Yep. I remember you, Goompy. Goompy says, Panthers fan, if you remember me, I want CJ Stroud so far, but Bryce seems pretty dang good too. Yeah. And it's literally just one. There's only one negative with Bryce Young, and that is his size, his weight when he's getting hit. He's going to get hit by some really big dudes who weigh like 240, 270. And he weighs like close to 190. All right, enough stalling by me. We have my co-host Sushane, aka the Dynasty Trader. He's gonna break down some of these running backs. I also have like a mini rant, but we can't stop talking about quarterbacks, so I'm bringing you on. So Sushane, I was talking about quarterbacks. I don't think you heard me, but
no, what you saying?
QBs every day. And it's nuts. I recognize AR's insane upside to be one of the best quarterbacks ever, especially in Dynasty. I took the quiz again on who do I draft first overall as far as and yesterday and 2 days ago I answered Bryce Young. My answer changed.
Oh, it changed. Okay.
Today I'm back on Jay Stroud.
You're back on Stroud today.
Yeah, that's how crazy this has been. It's been nuts.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Wow. And I don't necessarily like it. We're wrong like a lot of times anyways. So, I guess it's just we're essentially at the end of the day just guessing and just trying to increase our chances from 50-50 to like 60-40 at the end of the day. I don't like that, but it is more exciting and it makes the actual NFL draft more exciting and just makes like fantasy, the rookie drafts and dynasty drafts we're doing a little more intense for sure. Right. But I'm not used to these emotions. I'm usually really set. Like it's super easy for me, like what I'm gonna do, and man, it's just I just keep going back and forth. So this is an RB episode, but I can't stop
talking about the QBs.
The QBs, they're nuts, and it's just this is what we were talking about here right before you hopped on. 2018 class, it's so similar.
Similar. Yeah, with Baker Mayfield and so. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, there's like 5 QBs in the first round, and now we have like 5 QBs in the first round.
Yeah.
It's
a freaky kind of rushing talent AR to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, very similar. Like
Will
crazy
Levis
similar.
to Josh Allen, or
the
comp's already out. That's crazy.
The biggest question is who the hell is Josh Rosen? That's the big question. That's the question everyone wants to answer.
I wonder. I don't know.
And
there's Bryce. Who knows?
You can't say like an exact comparison or anything, but it's just I'm just saying like it's so similar, and they could go anywhere, right? These guys could go anywhere, and I think the Panthers are getting CJ Stroud, but I showed you that report the other day, like they're getting Bryce Young. Like I love how
the same day Mike was sending something about AR too, so no one
number
knows.
one, no
number one, yeah, the Panthers. No one knows, man. Truly no.
Well, he is on the betting odds. Is he the third favorite?
I think the betting odds it was CJ Stroud for a second, right?
No. I'm talking about yeah. He's number one. I'm just saying. Let's bring that up. What? It would have to be a quarterback over. Who's the linebacker going like third?
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson. I think he was. Yeah, I think he was number 4 on this list because I think AR is number 5. Yeah, AR is number. Yeah, now I remember. AR is number 5 on the betting odds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're not traded, right? They wouldn't trade up to get
I wouldn't.
Player.
I've seen crazier things, right? We've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, it's possible, but like, just if you had to say like with some kind of certainty, that's just it's so unlikely that it wouldn't be a quarterback, especially when they are good quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's a quarterback-rich class, so to speak. Makes sense. I feel you.
Bring up the odds, though. Let's have some. This website looks ugly, but we'll use it. It's legit. It's the first thing on Google.
Sharp. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, these odds are these are the odds for sure. So CJ Stroud's the favorite to go number 1, heavy favorite. Then Bryce Young has a realistic shot. go number 1 overall. Then Anthony Richardson has an outside shot
Outside
going on. And then after that, it's just a bunch of crap. We got Will Levis at number 4. I mean, if they do that, like, can you imagine the draft, like the fans and the draft, which I think is
That would be such a bad move, I think. Oh
like,
my god.
They'd have to like delay the next pick. Like,
yeah,
it would just be
it
it'd be like
some
some kind of riot, some kind of like
That's
Roger Goodell on the phone, like, help me! It's shaking! The stage is shaking. Help us. We need reinforcements.
Yeah, I don't want to be the GM to pick that quarterback.
Bro.
I don't want that job.
He needs to call Kevin Costner for advice.
Oh god, yeah, he needs to fix this.
Roger Goodell, speed dial Kevin
Sir,
Costner.
I want all my picks back, and the player.
He's like, what do I do? People are booing more than usual. I know you're not a real GM, but like you played one in a movie,
right?
Kind of a favorite movie here on Fantasy Couch. How many times have you watched Draft Day? Just once?
I've seen it a couple times.
Times.
I saw it in the last 3 days because it's draft season, so I always try to watch it.
Yeah, I've seen the movie at least 3 times. It's one of those where I'm almost embarrassed when it comes on and I end up watching it again. Almost embarrassed.
It's one of those classics, like
guilty pleasure and
like
kind of
Christmas movie, But for
draft season, it's good. It's just good enough to where it's like a solid movie.
Yeah,
but it's not that great. It has enough cringy moments and BS moments that would never happen, but has like pretty good acting, pretty good star power, and just enough dope stuff to like keep you intrigued the whole movie.
Yeah.
So we've both seen Draft Day multiple times. If you guys haven't, I highly suggest watching. Good movie.
Not the most realistic, but there's real enough elements to it.
Yeah, there is enough. Yeah, there is enough that you're like, I'm not in like total like La La Land here. Like it's definitely a solid watch. Albert, what's up, man? You have people tuning in. Dak is in the building. I think I like Richardson a lot. Hi, Nacho. Hi, Couch.
I think you like Richardson's rushing ability a lot. I don't think you like Richardson's passing ability at all.
Alarming.
If you like his passing ability, there's something wrong with you, man.
Yeah. Is that a good word? Don't they do that one word? They do like on PTI, the one word. His passing. What do you think is about his passing ability? I'd say alarming.
Alarming? Yeah, I've seen that. Pardon the interruption. Yep.
Or noob. I don't know what. Like, how would you describe that in one word? Or you don't have to be a short phrase.
Yeah, alarming. Honestly,
alarming.
That's
noob, or like noob stuff.
Tier,
like
alarming.
It's just
basic, beginner, novice. It's not good.
Didn't the Panthers QB coach? Well, let's drop his. This is a good name drop. Josh McCown is his name.
Yep. Josh
McCown, Panthers QB coach, say on camera to CJ that they will shoot hoops when he moves to Charlotte. CJ is locked in. Now, I read a comment. I don't know if it was move. We have to watch this. That's the thing. He said when you did he say when you move to Charlotte? Because I read a comment underneath that said like, oh, it could be because of a visit because he's going to Charlotte to visit. Now, so I don't want to. How do we showed this on the podcast again?
We did. I remember. I don't remember the exact word that you're looking for.
CJ Stroud. Let's analyze this. Let's see if we can. All right, I got it here, guys. I got it here. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Bear with me for audio.
I thought you were gonna say bear down for a second.
Relax. Chicago Bears fan.
Sorry.
Who's worse? I mean, this is not a good question. Malik Willis is worse in every aspect than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, pretty much facts.
He's
I mean, yeah. I guess the point is both of them are behind. Both AR and Malik Willis are behind in passing. But I guess you could say Richardson has the tools are there because I mean at least his arm strength will lean in AR's favor. Like that's an insane cannon of an arm that he has. Obviously, the accuracy, the mechanics, and all that stuff needs to be developed. Consistency.
Let
So
me
I mean,
put it like this, Malik. Like it's like when I compare myself to NFL players.
yeah, pretty much.
Comparing Malik Willis, because
Right.
Malik Willis is a very, very, very poor man's Anthony Richardson.
Sure.
But I mean, they're so far apart. It's like when I compare I just do it as a goof on here from time to time when I compare myself to like, oh, like I could be like a Nick Mullins or
I'm faster than so and so or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I got you.
I'm just joking to make a point, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the realm. Like Malik Willis is a what do you say in terms of military? Like a civilian. So that's what he's a civilian. Anthony Richardson could be like top admiral. He could lead us to Lombardi. He could lead us to QB1 status in fantasy. Yeah, he has that. I think everyone
General
knows
Richardson. Okay.
Admiral
Admiral Richardson. Let's go.
Could lead you to a fantasy championship easily, just like Lamar Jackson did if you drafted him in round 9 or round 7 that one year where he exploded. That's where he was going, like round 7, round 8, round 9, and that was easily the steal of the draft.
Yep, league winner type stuff.
Thank you. I'm behind on research. This is all what it's for. This is why we're all gathered here, and it's pretty relaxed because the NFL draft didn't happen yet. So, I have a pencil and paper. I'm ready to, give you guys advice and help you out, this and that. I don't have my stamp yet. Nothing's in ink. I'm not going to stamp it yet. That's the round sound effect, but, you guys get it.
Right.
That's the right sound effect. After the NFL draft, I'll have my stamp out, ready to ink some people in the forehead, ready to go, ready to sign contracts, ready to make some real takes. Let me bring up this. So this is Josh McCown, Panthers QB coach, telling CJ Stroud. Okay, so it's in between what we said. Okay, so it's not okay.
Okay,
I got it. Okay, so we'll give me a second here. Let me bring it up. We got to make sure we got the audio on that. That's why. Okay, here we go.
Done it well, bro. That was great.
I'll be there, I think,
Let's see.
I got the color, man. It's a lot. I appreciate you.
See ya. We'll find a court. Play some more.
It's right here. Come on.
Okay.
Well, no, I got to do a little meeting.
We'll find a court.
Well, no, I got to do a little meeting.
We'll find a court. Okay. Well,
no, I got to do a little meeting. We'll find a court.
So it seems like and this tweet's probably right, by Dov Kleeman, trusted NFL source. Maybe when you live in Charlotte, we'll find a court, which is basically the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Live, move, yeah. So it's
phrasing is important, though.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so we have this. We know that CJ Stroud is, the prototypical, like, safer, like, he checks all the boxes. Like, it makes sense for them to get CJ Stroud. And then we have the other
more exciting
evidence is the odds. The betting odds are kind of saying like it's gonna be him. So I think they're drafting CJ Stroud.
Okay. I would agree with that. I don't disagree.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be CJ Stroud. Like,
put
a percentage on it.
Put a percentage on it. I mean, looking at those stats, looking at those odds, considering one guy is at minus odds and the other ones are at plus, it's pretty high. Yeah, I was like 85%, maybe.
What's your odds though? I mean, not
my odds.
Yeah. Your odds. Yeah. I can crunch these. I do these on TikTok. I crunch. I do the pie chart.
I mean, I'm still gonna go with Vegas. I feel like Vegas always knows stuff that I know, but I'm not as confident. Maybe 75, 80%. I think there's a world where between now and April 29th, so in the next 20 or so days, I think whoever the Panthers have in mind right now, maybe they did not, maybe not 100%. Maybe not everyone in that locker room is, heading in the same way. Maybe there's a little bit of a divide, and maybe today they're into CJ Stroud, and by the time it's draft day, they flip to Bryce Young or something.
I actually don't think that would happen. I think the odds of that are astronomically low because they traded up to the first to get it. And I know a counter argument to that would be the Niners getting Trey Lance when they may have been trying to get Mac Jones,
Okay.
but it's all in context. It's all,
Yeah.
you know, you can't, like, it's not apples to apples, right? It's not, nothing's black and white. So
They
with
made
that,
that move before the combine or after the combine? I can't remember.
I don't know, but it wasn't super late though. Like it was
Okay.
kind of early on the early side. Yeah, I don't know. But with that, and if you listen to Kyle Shanahan, that's a different scenario because first of all, that's the 3rd overall pick. That's different than the 1st overall pick. It's just
Yes.
it's different.
It's just different.
Significantly
It's just
it's different, exactly.
Mhm.
Second, when you hear Kyle Shanahan, I know it could be lies, but I believe this one, and it makes sense. He really did believe that year there was like 5 quarterbacks that were good.
Okay.
And so they did that. Let's just say they were going to go get Mac Jones, which makes sense. They did that knowing that they might pivot, knowing that they do have 5 QBs they like. Because, I mean, then let's use some common sense. Justin Fields is not a garbage prospect. Like we get Mac Jones downside, like, okay, he's got a, high floor, low ceiling, but like Justin Fields is a really good prospect. So like, I believe that there were 4 and what they were saying 5 QBs they would consider. Like those guys are really good. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. I know a lot of Niner fans that were excited on the small chance that Zach Wilson might fall number 3. And then Trey Lance from the small school, which me and you like. So it's like, that's what happened. With this, you trade everything for the 1st overall pick. I think they're 99.9% set. That's high on who they're gonna get.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of with you on the odds. I would say just because, like, what do I know? I would say like 80% chance it's CJ Stroud, something like that.
Just overwhelming favorites right now.
Yeah, maybe even higher, maybe 85%. I might hit 85%. Now, this is an interesting observation here. Okay, so a random Facebook user says after the combines when they traded.
Okay, so I mean, I asked that question because before versus after the combine, you obviously get more measuring sticks or more boxes can be checked. You get more information about these prospects, like so just the height, weight, 40 time, all that stuff. So okay, fair enough. So it basically just goes more in favor of your point, saying that hey, they probably are going for Stroud because they made the move after the combine. They got more data points to solidify their selection.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Trey Lance.
No.
Oh, you talking about?
Also about the Panthers. Trey Lance, I also know they did that super early too.
Huh.
But that was more of a thing where it's like you knew Trevor Lawrence was 1, and then my theory was that because Robert Saleh was the Jets coach, I feel like maybe the 49ers had very strong intel that the Jets were like guaranteed to go.
I just think they had a very strong intel here. We all kind of knew that Zach Wilson, like okay, we were pretty right. You were pretty confident Zach Wilson was going to go 2nd. So it's like, and on top of that, he could have. So like he knew, like let's say 90% chance Zach Wilson was going 2nd, regardless,
or
he higher.
Knew who what the draft board would look like.
And if Zach Wilson fell, that he'd probably be like, well, that's a blessing, like because he probably was cool with Zach Wilson. When was the Panthers Bears trade? Let's see.
Probably right after the combine.
March 10th.
March 10th?
I think
that's close to the combine.
March 12th. When's NFL combine?
I want to say it was like the 19th or something.
Why is this? Oh, that's the NFL draft.
Let's see.
I'm not stupid. Google.
It's the worst thing.
Google making me look stupid. March 2nd.
February 27th through March 6th. Okay, yeah. So it was right after the combine.
Right after the combine, yeah. And this is a good point. I like what Goomby said. He said, yeah, it was a little sketchy how confident Josh McCown said that. Like, hey, when you live in Charlotte.
Yeah, it is true. Okay.
But he also does that thing, the devil's advocate thing. but he knew cameras were rolling, so it could just be a troll. That's kind of an interesting conversation because why would they need to do a smoke screen or lie? I don't think there's a big reason, but there could always be like these small advantages they think they'd get from lying or at least not announcing what's going to happen. There's a lot too. Maybe Roger Goodell calls them and says like, "Hey, don't like announce it. Like play ball with us, like for marketing. Like it's going to be like 1 million more people interested in the draft if they don't know for certain who's number 1 overall."
That's probably the reason I buy into, honestly, the most, because football is kind of like that. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that goes on.
It's like, hey, bro, just play ball. Like, it's not like we're asking you a big deal. Just like, don't announce it, and ratings are gonna go up. Just be a good boy. Cool. Like, be cool with it. Yeah, play ball. Exactly. I can end you. I can end your life right now. I'm a super villain. I'm Roger Goodell. I can snap my finger. You think commissioner? It's like Thanos, bro. Thanos Goodell.
The evil senator from Star Wars. That's Roger Goodell.
Oh, we have bold prediction here. New comment. He thinks Anthony Richardson actually has a 5% chance to go number 1 overall just because he's a freak athlete, and 80% for Stroud because we saw the way they talked. So leaving 15% or so because Bryce's college career was so good. Oh, so we have some predictions here.
I like it.
I think I might have to whip out a pie chart for that TikTok, man.
Oh, for sure.
I can't believe I didn't think of this.
Now, here's the question, right? On said pie chart, does Will Levis get a slice?
Bro, I love to put those 1% and 2%, bro.
Oh, yeah, the little sliver.
That's how you get engagement on those posts.
For sure. Usually
that sliver is reserved for like Raiders and Atlanta Falcons, 2 teams I love to clown on. And that's fun. Not a lot of Falcons comments, but the Raiders, man, they make my TikToks viral, and I thank you guys for that. You guys for that. That's why I always give you guys that 1% for everything. They're like 1% chance we're gonna win the division. You guys are stupid. We're the best. They write that.
1%'s a lot, in my opinion. Just
bro,
outside of
I was like, do you guys see the division? Like,
do you guys see your team? The division. The division. Do you see your team?
Like, the Chiefs suck. They're so whack. We beat them in the regular season one time.
Once in like 10 years.
Like, bro, like, stop. Like, the Chiefs, are you kidding? That's a real team. A real fire team. You guys are not a real team.
Might not even be the 3rd best team in the division. Might not be.
Well, that's when we thought Russell Wilson was good. This is before the season started. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna post a pie chart. That's cheating in the middle of the season. I posted that way before the season started. That's when we thought like Russell Wilson was like, the argument was like, is he elite or is he really good? Like, that was the two.
Yeah.
That was the
My God.
And that team is stacked, bro. Javonte Williams, dope defense.
Sutton.
And we thought the coach might be good. We thought Nathaniel Hackett might be a real coach. Like, there was nothing pointing to Hackett being a hack. Nothing.
No.
And there was right after the first game, we're just like, bro. I think I asked you the question. I was like, okay. Because I want like a different opinion. I always get this, even if there's like a 0.1% chance I'm wrong. I just want to know. Like, I need to check. I'm like, Sushane, is there any like way in the coaching world you would have like kicked that field goal? You're like, no, there's no reason,
no way, dude. What are you
no reason to call that play to kick the field goal. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah. You know me, I watch a lot of these field goals. Like, I love the field goal aspect, and I'm just like
the field goal heartbreak.
And I'm watching Manning, the Manning cast, and it's fun that Peyton Manning, didn't know what's going on for a long time, and so there's a clip of him just calling. He's like pretending to call a timeout for 20 seconds. He's like, timeout, because this is like his second. He is the 2-minute drill king. He's the best at the 2-minute drill ever.
Facts.
So he can't stop like calling this timeout from his house with the cameras on. And he's like, I'd call a timeout here. I'd call a timeout, coach. I'd call a time. I'm like,
so mesmerized.
What are you doing? And I'm like, Peyton, they're bringing the field goal unit on. He's like, no. He's like, call timeout. And then they missed the field goal. And then you
realize, oh my God, they're bringing the field goal unit out. Why?
Yeah. And then he kept doing. I mean, it was like every decision. There's an interesting split, which I think it's significant. I think it's good, but I don't want to base too much off of it because it's small sample size. It was Russell Wilson with Hackett and Russell Wilson without Hackett. So the numbers are extremely good without Hackett. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to do too much, but definitely he was a big hindrance. He was definitely a big part of Russell Wilson sucking. And, he's getting replaced with a great coach, Sean Payton. So.
Yeah, he was definitely a big problem.
Do you know what this comment is? 0.3%.
The Will Levis slice.
Well, on TikTok you can't do that. You can't post that on social media. It's too thin of a sliver. And people would start picking up on my troll jobs when I do so I'll round that up. That's what we do. We round it up 1%. Yeah. Give people some hope. Is there a lot of Will Levis truthers out there in the world, Sushane?
No.
I haven't found any. That's why. So there's none really.
There are a few, but it's by far, the fewest among the 4 quarterbacks.
Okay. Is it less truthers? Are there less Will Levis truthers than there were Josh Allen truthers when he was coming out of college in 2018?
That is a very good question.
Well, I have no clue though. You must have some clue. You must
I know that Josh Allen was one of the least popular consensus of that class. Obviously, you can ask, some random person may have had Josh Allen higher, fine. But for, most people, Josh Allen was the 4th, maybe 5th ranked quarterback in that class. Lamar Jackson would be the 4th or 5th ranked quarterback in that class. So again, if you were to copy what we did 2-3 years ago, whatever, in 2018, fine. But also people learn from their mistakes, right? So people now know, hey, Will Levis, the comp is Josh Allen. AR, the comp is Lamar Jackson / Cam Newton / whatever. So who knows? I mean, it really just depends on your league at the end of the day. But generally speaking, he's not the most popular guy, Will Levis.
I'm talking to people in general. So I think Josh Allen had more supporters because Josh Allen and Lamar, I don't like the ranking you just put, even though it was true. They were the polarizing ones. That's how I'd put them in the polarizing category to where they had a lot of haters. And I always mention the Bills Mafia. They booed the Josh Allen pick pretty hard. It was pretty a lot of booing. And Lamar Jackson fell a lot in the draft. We all know that.
A lot of people thought Lamar Jackson was not even a quarterback.
Well, yeah. They wanted to put him at wide receiver,
running back, whatever it would be.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, man. He just looks so good in college. I get the concern, but he looks so good in college. He put up a ton of touchdowns, big time touchdowns. Yeah. I get the concern, but he did go way too low. And yeah, I mean, I guess I what I'm thinking is there was a little bit more support for Josh Allen because I do remember some Josh Allen truthers. I just haven't seen too many Will Levis truthers. I haven't seen any actually this year, but I don't know. I haven't been taking the temperature. You take the temperature sometimes. You discuss this a lot with your buddies, and I don't know about the Will Levis. The Anthony Richardson hype. I hear that's everywhere.
It's everywhere. You can't
and
escape
it's hot. It's hot. Facebook user asks, "What's the odds Pats trade Mac Jones and go get Anthony Richard the cyborg?" I just want to first answer this by saying I have no clue ever what the Pats are doing. Bill Belichick is an absolute weirdo. You can never know what he will do, and the guy is a big time gambler. So you see a lot, his L's are massive. They're usually big L's, and his W's are really big W's. You never know what this guy's gonna do. So you just say no.
So here's the thing. I know something that you don't know, and I know that he is asking you this question because he looked at a mock draft done by Lance Zierlein that had the Patriots trading up and taking Anthony Richardson. So because that was already mock drafted, I say nope, it's not gonna happen. Someone already tried to predict it. So therefore,
I've heard about this. This is, I think I seen it on TV. Yeah, okay. I think I've heard about this. Yeah, I'm like, okay,
it's a crazy mock draft just to be.
Got you. Well, I mean, first of all, the first thing has to happen. They have to trade Mac Jones, so that's already
a tough
one.
I've also heard because it's been a conversation in at least media circles since that mock draft came out. I've also heard that they could just make the move for Anthony Richardson, and then Bill Belichick would be that stingy of a guy where it's like, or I guess that unstingy, that kind of like ruthless of a guy where he's like, I'll just take anything from Mac Jones. Give me like a 5th or a 6th round pick. I'll just take that. I've heard that argument floated out by like actual like TV people.
And so he'd kind of take an L on the Mac
He would
Jones
just
as
take
far
an
as
L,
value,
right.
because he drafted him high. He did well his first year, then he did bad his second year. So Mac Jones' stock is lower.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. I give it a 0% chance because someone already kind of mock drafted it, so to speak. Expect Bill Belichick to make the quote unquote the right pick, right? So I'm thinking a corner, someone on the defensive line. Maybe if like one of the top 3 tackles somehow falls, probably one of those guys.
Kind of I mean, that's what he'll probably do, but like at the same time, didn't he draft Sony Michel?
Oh, that's true.
Nobody saw that coming. Yeah, it broke all the Belichick rules.
That is true.
And he kind of drafted like a sleeper running back super early. It's weird. I'm just saying. Didn't they draft like a wide receiver? Who's the?
Oh God, N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal. He's a skinny lineman, skinny offensive lineman. N'Keal Harry.
Prototype X receiver, baby. Oh God.
Yeah, so it's like
bad memories.
Yeah, this is what like I've been screwed by Belichick, and we've all tried to predict what they're gonna do so many times. Then they draft a guy named Cole Strange.
Yeah, I don't know what that was last year, first round, but
yeah, bro, I'm telling you, he's a weirdo. Like he is a super weird dude. And like just because people have a bunch of reigns, like you gotta like criticize, like even from his play calling to that. But that's how come sometimes like it hits so hard and he gets a W, and he thinks out the box. But he's sometimes very weird, and his L's, which we just counted a few, are pretty massive. Sony Michel wasn't a massive L. He wasn't that bad. But like he was a running back, dude. You could have not like you probably shouldn't have drafted a running back there.
And
that
you drafted him ahead of Nick Chubb, so it kind of was.
Yeah, it's another thing. Yeah, Sony Michel was like the number 5 RB. It was one of my favorite sleepers. Just like I'm talking football in general, right? He was great, and then he just started, and then he no longer became a sleeper. And then Belichick drafted him round 1. You shouldn't have drafted a running back round 1. Like even though he didn't suck, he wasn't that good, and he probably should have spent that on another position like wide receiver or defense. I mean, really just about anything.
Anything else. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Cole
Strange. I mean, look, Cole Strange, he's good, but I mean, you're going to go up with a first round pick and reach of all positions at guard. It just goes to show, to Couch's point, he's capable of doing some out of the box, some crazy stuff.
Only reason I brought him up was like just something that 0% of people came close to predicting that they would do. Yeah, so nothing against Cole Strange. I don't know. Maybe it was a smart pick. I don't know. I don't really look at like, I'm doing fantasy football here, so I don't know the analytics on all that and this and that. It was weird, I'll tell you that. But my point was that like you don't know what the heck this guy's gonna do, and nobody thought he would have drafted Cole Strange. Anthony, hi, how are you doing? Man, we're going on quarterback tangent. We're supposed to be locked in talking about running backs only for 40 minutes.
It's tough, man.
Only 40 minutes, baby.
That's what the position does to you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, this year quarterback, insane though. I've never seen this ever.
Oh yeah,
insane. I mean, it
you
just
like
not knowing. No, quarterback, not knowing where they're gonna go.
Oh yeah,
it's mine. Like every day I think of this. Like, who do I draft first overall? Who the Panthers draft? Like, it's just. It's nuts. There's got to be a trade. We got to see like an AR trade or maybe even a Bryce Young trade, Will Levis trade.
Oh, third overall.
Hendon Hooker to the Raiders. Everyone's talking about that with the trade. It's like
Hendon Hooker to the Raiders.
Yeah, so much going. They don't have their quarterback.
How high at the Raiders?
I think they'd have to draft. I think they have to trade up. I think
it's like a late round 1. Are we talking that?
Yeah, mid to late round 1.
Hendon Hooker round 1 now.
Yeah, round 1.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
late. Yeah, after. Yeah. So
that
could
is
they?
significant to
They
me.
have a round 1 pick, the Raiders. I'm sure
I
they
think they
do.
do 7th overall or something.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't
Overall.
draft him there, but yeah, they would. So they might trade down. I don't know I haven't looked at my mocks, but yeah, they're trying like 20 plus, yeah, around there.
Either
Hendon
way, I mean, the
Hooker.
fact that whoever they is, they are saying that Hendon Hooker could go round 1. I mean, to me, that's significant a lot. That means he's probably going to go round 1 in your rookie mock draft or rookie super flex drafts.
Yeah, super flex. I
So,
mean, you know how quarterbacks usually get that extra bump in
yeah.
super flex. They get a
And
little more
you hold the
excited.
1.1, which means you probably also hold the 2.1. So that Hendon Hooker stuff is going to be significant for you. Because now that 2.1 can actually get you a player that should not be taken in the second round, with all due respect.
Bro, this is outlandish. Who are you? Reveal yourself, because this is so outlandish. I think Hendon Hooker can be the 3rd QB off the board. Always talking about real NFL.
Dude,
If someone likes them more than AR, I don't think so, but
I don't think so
I
either.
don't
But
see it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I do have Hendon Hooker as my 3rd quarterback.
You got AR that low? You're
Yeah.
tripping. AR's upside.
I'm tripping?
Is
Okay, we'll
nuts.
see.
AR's upside is nuts,
I
bro.
don't know.
You got to
He
use some
broke.
imagination. You didn't use your imagination when Josh Allen went to the Bills.
I did not.
I'll tell you
You
that.
were right about that. I did not use my
There's
imagination
a couple people in Discord calling me a big dummy when I won all those leagues that year with Josh Allen and redraft. I mean, they're like, they laughed at me.
I was probably
Like
one
Juan laughs, ha ha ha, like it, ha 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 ha, like that type of stuff. And I had Josh Allen on all my teams.
and then you end up destroying my team, and you get the last laugh.
I mean,
Yeah,
I made it to the championship game in almost every league. It was nuts that year.
With Josh Allen, I believe it. Yeah,
I mean,
he was that
I was
dominant.
like, I was just shocked that he was going so low. So I mean, like, you got to use a little. I mean, I didn't know he'd take that huge leap, but I mean, he's finishing QB7, like with when he sucked. So I'm like,
That's kind of how I feel about Hendon Hooker as of right now. Maybe the hype will change the price.
you know what? The Raiders draft him.
Mm.
You might have to move him down, right? When these organizations that are complete jokes and that ruin quarterbacks.
I mean, look, you remember a little bit ago, I had a particular receiver before the draft as my highest, most talented, if you will, receiver. Then the Raiders took him. Like, nope, sorry, and he fell out of my top 5. Henry Ruggs.
Oh, top 5. I thought you said the first. I thought you said
no.
Number 1
I had
for some
him
reason.
Pre-draft. I had because most people would have it would be like a top 3, like a big 3 of Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs in some order.
Yeah, but you didn't have him number 1 though.
I did for a little bit. For a couple of days, I did for a little bit there.
Okay, that doesn't quite count, but that's still profound that you actually had him penciled in. That's what you had him penciled in at number 1 for a hot minute. Wow.
Yeah.
and then you bought like this really big expensive eraser, right? To make sure to get all that.
White out everything.
Oh, you erased it and whited it out as soon as the Raiders.
I printed out a new template. I didn't want to see
what?
that.
The Raiders gave him that draft capital though. That's not.
It's the Raiders. That's the thing.
Bro, yeah.
Raiders. Yeah. I mean, hey, I've made that mistake with Dotson in Washington, but I'm going to continue to stay true to that because I mean, for every one Jahan Dotson, we're going to get 7 Henry Ruggses. So I'm just not going to touch those bad landing spots.
Bro, Jahan Dotson's going to be awesome. It's just as soon as Dan Snyder sells the team, we're good. That's all. The curse is lifted.
Away are we, though?
As soon as he sells the team, the curse is lifted.
I got you. Man.
That's all we need. They're going to be real. Sam Howell is going to be the best quarterback from that draft class from last year.
That's terrible.
His competition's Kenny Pickett, right? I mean,
fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, we don't have much faith in Malik Willis. We don't have much faith in Desmond Ridder. So his competition's
not Corral,
Kenny Pickett, who's not horrible, but he's not good. Like you can beat Kenny Pickett. You can.
That's not really setting a high bar for sure.
That's it's just the bar, though. Yeah, it's just. I mean, no one said it's just there was just not a QB class last year. That's all.
Kenny Pickett. Okay.
But there we have it. Here we do have a hot take from Sushane. His QB3 in Dynasty is Hendon Hooker. He's officially an AR hater.
Yeah, I'm.
You are because AR is like 1, 2, 3 for everybody.
Okay.
And putting him at 4 is pretty extreme.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
I mean, I do that to make a point.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not like the other guy I brought on the podcast who was the biggest Joe Burrow hater. That guy looks bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
that
It's
made
not
no
that bad. It's not
sense.
that bad.
That would have made no sense, though, is what's funny. Like, this one, I at least, like, I can understand. You're like, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep a starting job in the NFL. So I get it. Pats traded Mac to the Raiders and 1.14 for the 7th. Take Hooker. Pats trade Mac Jones to the Raiders. They wouldn't. They already have Mac Jones. That's Jimmy Garoppolo. Right? Like,
Exactly. Didn't they
and
sign
then
him?
the Raiders take Hooker.
That makes no sense. This comment makes no
Okay.
sense to me.
It stumped me, but I'm not good with it. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. The question is, who will try to get Lamar Jackson? That's going to be the first piece of the dominoes. Yeah, no team wants this guy, I don't think, at the moment. Well, not necessarily. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like, the teams that may be interested already have a quarterback. So out of the, realistic landing spots, nobody wants this guy right now.
Yeah, no one really
I
wants
don't
the
think.
contract. No one wants the negotiation. No one wants to pay the price that is 2 first-round picks and whatever. I would say this, right? If I am the Colts, I'm holding the 4th overall pick. I see the Panthers have moved up. They're going to get a quarterback. By all accounts, Houston looks like they're going to get a quarterback. That's 2. Now all of a sudden, how we talked about the quarterbacks the other day. There's 5 good ones in this class, so that's probably going to be like what, 2 out of 5, maybe 1 out of 5. So now all of a sudden,
You're saying 2 out of 5 will hit, yeah.
2 out of 5 will hit, right? So now all of a sudden, if I'm the Colts at 4, okay, the top 2 quarterbacks are gone. Someone could easily on draft day move up at 3, and now all of a sudden, I'm
probably be a good offer.
Sure.
Could, I mean, there's so many things, but yeah, there could be a really good offer for 3.
Sure. So if
Might
that
be hard to
happens,
resist.
let's say hypothetically, let's just use Atlanta for example, right? Let's say Atlanta moves up to 3, gets a quarterback. So now it goes quarterback. I'm the Colts at 4. The top 3 quarterbacks are just gone. Maybe there's a world where I say 2 things, right? I pick up the phone, I call Eric DeCosta of the Ravens. I say, hey, we're up here at 4th overall. We can give you this pick. We can give you some other stuff. Give us Lamar Jackson. That could be one thing. Or number 2, they could draft Will Anderson. Day 1 of the draft could be over. And they could say, hey, let's give you our 24 and 25 firsts for Lamar Jackson. Let's go get this done. Colts to the Ravens.
Colts, who drafts Will Anderson?
Colts would draft Will Anderson at 4. Day 1 of the draft ends. They call up the Ravens and say, hey, let's make this trade. We got a 24 first, 25 first. We'll give up both of those for Lamar Jackson. So now all of a sudden you walk away with the draft with Will Anderson and Lamar Jackson. That's not bad.
I guess.
That's what I would do.
I don't know. There's so many. Also, the Colts could trade up to 3.
That's also true too.
And if anybody says that's dumb, it's been done. Your Bears traded with my Niners on draft day. And it was for, I mean, I don't know. Trubisky was kind of hot at the time, but I feel like it really wasn't that hot. It really was. I remember the commentators that day, whatever channel I was watching at the sports bar, they didn't know what was going on. I figured it out, but they didn't know. They just couldn't. The thought didn't even come to their head that the Bears would trade up 1 spot for a QB and Mitch Trubisky. It didn't even think about that. Like if the Colts do it, like we would know, like, oh, they're getting Bryce Young or they're getting AR or a small chance Will Levis, right? Like we know like what it is. Like, I mean, they want to trade up to get Will Anderson. I doubt that. But they could trade up 1 spot. Cardinals won't get anything amazing, but they get that peace of mind that, hey, we're going to get our guy still. And when we're going to get something significant, we're going to get like a 3rd rounder out of this or a 4th and a 5th or something like. And
at least with the Colts, it makes a little bit more sense for them to trade up because, I mean, the conversation is happening, what if someone moves up to 3 and snipes the Colts of a quarterback? We're openly talking about that. So the Colts moving up to 3 to kind of secure that no one else jumps ahead of them. That makes sense. Compare that to the Bears. I don't think anyone's really talking about anyone, surpassing the Bears to get the first quarterback in the draft. So I
Yeah, it
mean,
wasn't. Yeah, so
that
it would
conversation was
make
not
more
there.
sense that the
Yeah.
Colts would trade up just to
Right.
secure their QB because that third pick is pretty hot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
even though I mean, in this case, we know the Cardinals are not going to draft the QB there. And the Niners that year had a very low chance of drafting a QB, but I guess there still was that threat, though. They
Sure.
might go QB
Yeah.
there. They might get Trubisky at 2, even though like it was only 5% chance that would happen. So here's my rant. We're moving on to running backs right now. So here's my rant. I've been watching a lot of Roschon Johnson. I've been watching more running backs today, doing some homework. There's only one legit reason, I guess 2, but the second one is kind of expected. Yeah, I guess you could say 2 reasons, but really there's only one reason why this guy's being ranked so low, and I don't get it, and I don't approve it, and I'm just lost. So this is the Dynasty rookie rankings. We had our producer Drew make some graphics for us to bring up on the podcast. Some simple graphics with the running backs we're going to talk about.
Nice.
And this guy here. So apparently this is the consensus, and this is like a real consensus because you guys made the graphics for this too. Roschon Johnson is being ranked so low. He's a whole tier below. He's ranked 13th. Like, what is going on? So literally the only real reason.
Is Sean Tucker still ranked 6th, by the way? These might be a little bit outdated.
This is Fantasy Pros. Remember how the quarterbacks were? Yeah, this is just some rankings. It's okay to clown on them. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't submitted mine to the consensus yet.
Fair enough.
What's wrong with this? 6.
He used to be that highly touted about 4 months ago.
Oh, now he's more like 10.
Yeah, more like 10, 12, 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. That he stood out to me. So, Roschon Johnson, as of right now, like, and I'm saying I'm penciling this in. This is not going to be anything. I would have him at 3. I think the only reason that he
that is a hot take. Wow. Oh my god.
I don't feel like it's hot. That's the thing.
That is hot. What are you talking
Literally
about?
the only reason that he's being ranked so low is because he was a backup.
Sure.
Yeah, you could probably show me data where like that's always like it's always been this way with running backs, like it's never happened. But like I look at it, I mean, he can catch. Yeah. He weighs more BMI than Zach Charbonnet, who's a big dude. Charbonnet's big.
For sure.
That's the thing. Charbonnet could look bigger or whatever. His combine's not bad. He has more strength and power than Charbonnet. He can block. He can catch. That's the thing. Like, even if you're a hater, you don't like him, everyone's calling him a power back. So it's like, it's not like no need for me to convince you on that.
Well, we also
did a power back.
We did show he can work to the outside though. So he's not just an in between the tackles functioning RB. That's probably where he's best at, but he is capable of working.
Yeah, and then that goes along with the passing too. So he can catch on the outside and run on the side. Like he can do it all. Yeah. Good goal line back. So it's like there's no weakness. Like when we had a little discussion when we were live streaming was like the third down, these like scat backs, like they're so small and some aren't even good at blocking and they can't block because they're so small sometimes. And it's like, but they're still good third down backs. And but with Roschon Johnson, you don't got to worry about that because he can catch, but he can also pass block, run block, and he has the size. He's really big. So it's like, I just don't see any weaknesses from him. And he's going to be fresh, like Josh Jacobs coming out of college. There's really not. So like I guess the other point would be, so there's one point. Yes, he was a career backup in college. Okay. I mean, that's
to Bijan Robinson. Let's put it out there.
Yeah. Right? To generational running back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a question mark. I get that. I don't think that's like a super valid point. I'm sure somebody could debate me and make it valid. Like, that's fine. I do recognize that. I put that in my mind as a question mark. All right. Number 2, knock on him would be that he's not projected to be a workhorse. So he's almost certainly going to be in a committee, which I agree on. But you know what? You can blindly say that about just about everybody. And you know what? I'm probably going to say that about just about every running back except our tier 1.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
that's just the NFL. That's
Yeah.
literally the NFL. Let's bring up every NFL team really quick. Let's count this. I mean, we're
Let's do
on
this.
we're in tangent land, so
Let's do this.
let's count to 32. How many teams have a workhorse? Let's count Bills.
Nope.
I'm shaking my head. Yeah, Dolphins. You go ahead and say no. Yeah. So for the audio
no
listeners,
Dolphins.
Patriots.
Kind of, not really.
They're known to screw us the hardest.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
So let's just say no.
Dude, just when you want Ramondre to do well. Oh,
bro.
God.
Yeah. So they've had him for a year, and then the next year you get screwed even harder. Like, so it's like they're known for Bellatrix. They're known for that. Jets.
Nope.
Due to injury. No.
Well, they like Michael Carter enough to give him run.
Well, Brees Hall stole the job essentially.
Was he getting 20 plus carries?
Only like 2 games because he got hurt. That's what I'm saying. The first 2 games he was the backup. Then he started to steal the job. Then he got hurt like what, week 7, week 8? Like, so it's like, I mean, that's like almost no sense. So like, yeah, so I'm gonna say no though, right? Like, because it didn't really happen because of injury.
Yeah.
Bengals, yeah. I mean, but we have some off the field issues.
we had some problems, homie.
I don't know. Maybe we're like at 1 total. I don't know. I don't know how to count this because it's like still we're not really seeing the workhorse. Truly.
Yeah.
Ravens, too many injuries.
Same thing.
So
Yeah.
no. Steelers, yes. We'll go
Yes.
We'll
give
just
the
say
Steelers
yes because they've had
All
Lev
right.
Bell,
Najee
Najee. We'll say even though Najee wasn't this year, we'll give him. Let's just count it 1. Yeah.
We'll give it to him.
Browns.
Nope.
No, not really.
Come on,
Nick Chubb in PPR is really not that good, to be honest, even though he's a great running back in real life.
And think about this, right? Look at what the team is telling you. They had Nick Chubb. They went out and they got Kareem Hunt. They lost Kareem Hunt. They're probably going to go get out another running back.
Which would be smart, to be honest. Like, what are you going to run Nick Chubb to the ground even faster? Like,
right.
You already do.
It is
Jags? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just count it 2. Yeah.
Okay.
2. Titans, yes.
Yeah.
That's one
Titans.
where we
Now-
can emphatically
now we're in the
say
division, baby.
round 1 workhorse. Okay. Colts.
Jonathan Taylor.
We'll say
yeah.
yes. We'll say yes. Texans, no.
Not really.
No.
Right? No.
Show me Dameon Pierce's pass catching.
Yeah,
Show me his pass catching.
Facts.
So we're at 3, right? Colts, Titans, and Steelers.
Maybe Jaguars with ETN.
We're going 3 so far.
We're going 3.
We'll give another easy one if we're conflicted. Chiefs, no.
Nope.
Chargers, yeah, we'll give it to them.
Sure.
Because Eckler's not the traditional workhorse, but he gets workhorse numbers and beyond. So we're at 4. Raiders, yeah. Recently 5. Broncos, no. Broncos, we'll answer no for every Broncos question. Eagles, I would say no.
Definitely not.
It's like
Definitely not.
Cowboys, no.
No.
Giants,
Dude,
yes. Are we at 5? Are we at 5?
Don't draft you.
Giants 5? Is that 5?
Saquon. Yeah. Okay. Giants 5. Saquon.
Is that? Do we have the count right?
Yeah.
Okay.
ET,
I don't want to make sure.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
So
5.
so far we got the Steelers, Jaguars, Titans, Colts, Chargers. 6.
Okay.
No,
6.
Raiders.
So we are going to
6.
count ETN. Fine.
Raiders 6. Yeah, we'll count No, wait. We'll just say 6. We'll just say 6. Giants 6. We'll say 6. Commanders, no. Vikings, yeah.
Yeah, Vikings.
7. Lions.
Hey man, Lions Jamal Williams.
The guy we're drafted late. That's a no. That's a no. That's a no. Packers, no.
Bears, no for Packers.
Bears, no, right?
Buccaneers, probably not, right? Because even with Fournette, they had Rashad White.
No, I'd say no, bro. We had Rashad White.
No for
Panthers.
We know the Saints are always a 2-man guy.
Saints, no. Falcons.
Falcons are weird right now.
Inapplicable.
Yeah. Incomplete.
Niners, no. Elijah Mitchell in the second half. Elijah Mitchell went healthy. My Twitter is full of people complaining.
How much run is he actually
Dude, CMC got under 20 touches. Elijah in a win, when the Niners win.
I almost said some words there. Wow.
When the Niners win, it's Elijah Mitchell has the second half in the game where they lead.
What?
There's people complaining about it. I'm like, dude, be happy you have CMC. Like, I drafted JT, so shut up.
So if I got CMC next year redraft, I'm 1,000% gotta get Elijah Mitchell probably.
No, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I'm just saying that like CMC still got his, but like, and the Niners use running backs a lot, so you could say he's a workhorse. But there's been games in the second half where CMC like almost didn't play. So I'm gonna say no for the Niners.
Okay, that's okay. Fair enough.
Seahawks, we can say sure.
Yeah.
It's just Rams inapplicable.
Rams, they want to be.
Cardinals, they're close.
I guess James.
Whatever.
Conner.
We're like at 8.5. Let's just say 8 to make it. Let's make it 8.
And there's a lot of those teams
make it
where
nice.
Like we're kind of making the case for it.
So it's in between. So you could count it about 7 or 9, 10 around. So let's make it 8 because the numbers are it makes it so much better. Because we really could have said like 7.
25% of the league.
25% of the league has a workhorse, and that's it.
I wonder if there are more superstar quarterbacks than workhorse running backs. Because there's 8.
That's kind of apples and oranges in a way, a little bit. It's kind of different because teams don't have tandem QBs. Because that was more of the point.
True.
That's more of the point was that the sharing the workload. That was really it, like sharing the workload type of thing. I mean, like that would be a legit question. Like when we saw the Niners with Trey Lance as a rookie, like he was taken away from Jimmy G a little bit. Like it was crazy. Like Trey Lance was being rostered, like just in case. Like, but most cases, like people didn't roster Bailey Zapp, right? Like in a redraft league, like,
right.
Ever. So
pick up.
Like ever, yeah. Okay, so we just quantified it. We were always saying like 7, 8. Now we have an actual number. So 8 out of 32 teams have a workhorse running back, and that's exactly 25%. So no matter what, you're probably going to be in some kind of tandem or maybe even third string running back. It might not work out. So it's like the odds are against you. So other than Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, and you correct me. So this is like my rant. This is what my gripe and how I'm looking at it. So you can correct me, you can rebuttal, or you can, chime in after I'm done with this. I want your take. Sure. So after this first tier, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, we're projecting him to hopefully, those are the Gibbs truthers here, projecting him to have like Austin Eckler type numbers where he's heavily relying on the receiving numbers, Kamara type numbers, heavily relying on the receiving numbers, which if you play PPR, that's fine. He could put up just as many fantasy points as a Bijan Robinson, just more risky.
Less than 20 carries, but that less than 20
carries still qualifies for a workhorse like Eckler. Sure. Like
we're talking like what, 5-6 receptions a game?
Yeah, like 7 targets a game. 15 carries, 14 carries, like that's the number we want. Exactly like Austin Eckler and Kamara, those exact stat lines. So that's our tier 1. Other than that, no matter what you think or who they are, they're probably in some kind of tandem or something. So I think my theory why people like Zach Charbonnet, mostly in fantasy circles, sometimes in, in real football, is that this guy just, for some reason, he just looks more like he could be a lead back. He just checks that box. And I get it, like he does, but I'm like you, man. He did not, like, I don't like him that much.
He didn't impress me, to the point where I'm going to have him as my clear best guy of the way I would say is exactly how you presented it. It's Bijan and then it's Jahmyr Gibbs. And then after that, I'm going to call it noise, right? It's not like noise where all the other players in this class just suck and they're going to be totally useless.
That's pretty derogatory term, noise.
Right,
I would say a serious tier gap. Yeah, noise just make them sound like these guys are headed to the XFL right away. Noise is such a bad term. Yeah, I'd say there's a huge tier gap or a big tier gap for sure.
And then on top of that, it's pretty clear cut Bijan Gibbs. It's not Gibbs Bijan. It's pretty noise. I like it. Major tier.
Here we go.
Noise.
All right. There we go. That's what you're saying, right? Just noise. So these guys are like, they're gonna be poor. They're not even gonna make money in the NFL. They'll be lucky to have a contract. They're gonna have extra clauses in their contract.
What I am saying though is this. Jokes aside, what I am saying though is this. After Gibbs, I really don't have any issue with you putting any running back at RB3. The reality is, I could tell you the tier is, Charbonnet, Achane, Zach Evans, and Banakanda. And then the next guys like Eric Gray, Tyjae Spears, or whatever. But I don't really have a strong conviction. Like if you were to tell me, I mean, obviously you said here Roschon Johnson, but let's say, for example, you told me, hey, I'm super into Kendre Miller. I would say, yeah, okay, by all means, go ahead, because I'm not convicted in Charbonnet.
I agree with that too, because
As
I
much.
am, for some reason, to me, I don't see him being a 3-down back, Roschon Johnson, even though I like him a lot.
Sure.
I just don't. Like, it's tough. Like, running back's a tough position. Competing for running back's a tough position. And then the league nowadays there's no workhorses. Like, how do you do, like, what is the path for you to become that lead back? I don't see it.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, right? What is the path, the opportunity?
I don't, but I mean, that's crazy, bro. We seen a guy like Josh Jacobs do it, and it's like Roschon might be able to, or at least like carve out like a good role, be part of a good tandem, put up RB1 numbers. Like, I mean, Tony Pollard did it, totally different type of running back, but I mean, Zeke was the goal line back, and he was there on a lot of snaps. Still, he was heavily used, and Tony Pollard still finished like RB7. So it's like, if this Roschon Johnson could somehow finish RB7, if I'm looking more on the upside, optimistic side. I mean, I love it. And I think it's like within the realm of reality. You can carve out a solid role, finish as a top 12 running back in fantasy, possibly. But yeah, definitely big tier gap.
Yeah.
After Jahmyr Gibbs, like it's
big tier gap
crazy.
After Jahmyr Gibbs, and on top of that, very small tier gaps throughout the rest of the runners.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where those tier gaps are, but yeah, and even Gibbs is pretty questionable, but the talent is there. If he gets enough receptions and enough big plays, it's just somewhat consistently, we can put up huge fantasy numbers.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
So that was really my gripe. I mean, that's pretty much, we could end the podcast there, but now we're going to go through talk about some of these running backs. So this is Fantasy Pros consensus rankings. They're nowhere near done. It's like 27 people ranking them. And yeah, some of these are outdated and whatnot. So we're just referencing this. We're not standing by this. And, they're usually pretty bad before the NFL draft. A lot of people aren't really putting a lot of work into them, just as a disclaimer. So, do we want to talk about these two? The tier 1, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, I mean, what really, whatever is left that there is to talk about. These are the two guys that are safe for me as far as fantasy assets. When you're drafting in your rookie drafts this year, you're going to attack running back. Bijan Robinson probably going to cost you the first overall pick no matter what format you're in. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you have the second overall pick and you're a running back away and you're angling for Bijan, just going to tell you right now, probably you might want to make the move from 1.2 to 1.1. It's that much of a clear-cut consensus with most people's minds. Now, maybe you could be in a league where, the 1.1 needs a quarterback desperately.
Only Superflex.
In Superflex format. Right?
Only Superflex.
You might be in that spot, but what I would still tell you is that person is probably thinking of trading the pick to get a quarterback rather than passing up on Bijan and drafting a Stroud or a Levis or a Bryce Young or whoever. Bijan Robinson, very safe. If you don't like Bijan Robinson, you're not going to like any running back for the next 10 years. I'm just being straight up with you. He's absolutely incredible as a prospect on tape, on film. The analytics guys love him as well. People are going to use the word perfect prospect to describe this man. And some people, including myself, will have him as the most talented overall player in this draft. That includes edge rushers, tackles, tight ends, everything. So there's a lot of talent to be here. Obviously, the positional value is going to hurt his NFL draft capital, but I'm thinking top 15. Most people think lock for round 1 as a running back. That's pretty good.
And you and Drew have been working really hard on this draft guide. Do you want me to bring that up?
Yeah, absolutely. We can bring it up and we can kind of go through what you're going to see here using Bijan as an example.
So these guys have been working on the draft guide that's going to come out soon. Let me try to make this.
Later this month.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and it's gonna go through all the rookies. Just really comprehensive, and most sites charge for this. And I might be putting this for free up on the website, so fantasycouch.com. So make sure you guys stay tuned. So this is the page for Bijan Robinson out of the Fantasy Couch draft guide.
Sure. So I'm just going to pretty much take you through what we're looking at here, and then kind of a lot of stuff is self-explanatory, but there's some stuff that I guess could use some further explanation. So you're going to open up this rookie guide, and you're obviously going to go through each player. It's one page per prospect, but there's a lot of information on the page. So the first kind of stuff you have here is like the general stuff where you have like the height, weight, the hand size, all the combine metrics, whatever. And then we're going to have an NFL draft projection, because we are going to have this released before the NFL draft. So we're not going to have the exact pick number and the draft capital, but we are going to give you a projection of where he's expected to go in the NFL draft. And then we're also going to give you the prototype. For running backs, that kind of means more like, is he all-purpose? Is he a pass catcher, third down back, power back, et cetera, and whatnot. Then all the way at the right, on the right side of the picture that you see, we have four kind of useful, I guess, values for you guys to see. We have, okay, what is it going to cost you in a rookie draft? Again, regardless of super flex or one quarterback, he's probably going to cost you an early round one pick. What is it going to cost you in a startup draft? Again, regardless of super flex or one quarterback, he's probably going to go round one. Based on your league, he could go late round one. Maybe some guys like him more, he could go mid round one. So though you're going to have two kind of draft price items for you, and then we're going to have two more points where you're going to see the value, right? So like, what type of value does he possess in Dynasty? And then what type of value does he possess in redraft as well?
I love that you guys put this in your redraft value, because I'm a redraft guy, but some people hate redraft. That's fine. But this also is kind of telling you like how he's going to do year one, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
Like a guy like AR, Anthony Richardson, we know is like such a big project where you think like probably shouldn't even draft him like in a non-super flex.
He would
like
probably be like one of those like
league.
waiver wire claims as far as redraft value goes.
Some idiot's gonna draft him, trust me.
Sure.
But
he shouldn't though. He shouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I say. He shouldn't, because he's more of a project. Would only come in if there's an injury, or might come in like Trey Lance did on his rookie year or something like that. No, but I love this because it shows how soon is he gonna learn and be productive if he's gonna do it his rookie year.
And again, it is just a projection. It is just a guess, but it is kind of how most people feel. I don't think anyone here is going to tell you that, oh, Bijan Robinson's going to be a bust in the NFL. Is it possible? Absolutely. But we're trying to give you the best advice out there and the most accurate, value depiction of what Bijan Robinson, for example, or any other running back that we'll see in the guide can give you. After that, you're going to see a big blurb, and this is the one where I know a lot of people nowadays, they don't like to read. I would read this if I were you, because this tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the prospect in, what is that, 1/3 of a page?
You tried to condense this.
I tried to condense this as hard as I could.
Guys, he tried to condense it like a TikTok video, so he got rid of all the fluff. So it's not.
I got rid of all the fluff. So this tells you about the guy's recruiting profile. What was he as a high schooler? Was he was he like a highly recruited guy? Was he like some under the radar guy who just kind of fell? So with Bijan Robinson's case, you're going to know that where he's from. He was super talented as a high schooler, got all sorts of offers, yada, yada, yada. You're going to find out a little bit about his career in college. Obviously, you can use the next section to help you out there. But if there's anything notable, like if there's an award that he won, or if there's maybe a serious injury, or if there's maybe he transferred or something.
How about like off the field issue, like you drove a car
issue.
like a bad, you did something bad like in a car. Is that going to be here?
Yep, that's going to be in here. No, that would be in here for a couple. There's one guy in particular. We'll get to receivers next week. We can talk about him in more depth next time. So you'll find some of that in there, and then you'll also find like a summary of like the skill set and like why the NFL would take him in there as well. And then the last sentence will always be the fantasy football implication. So that's a lot of stuff that you're getting in that blurb. I would not skip over it if I were you. Then here you have the college skills, college stats rather. Notable stuff for a running back: how many rushing yards, how many receiving yards, yards per game, rush attempts, receptions, and touchdowns. Obviously, for running backs, rushing yards very important. For a position like receiver or tight end, receiving yards are more important. And for quarterbacks, neither are really important. Maybe rushing yards are more important than receiving. So for each position, the stats are going to be a little different, but we're going to have the key, most important ones for you. And you can kind of see they're laid out in a way where you can kind of see growth per year to year, right? So when we're looking at Bijan Robinson, you can see that, each year, for example, for rushing and receiving yards, for example, you can look at the top two categories. First year, 700. Next year, better, 1,100. Year after that, better, 1,600. Same thing for receiving yards. Same thing for yards per game. You can keep on going on and on, rushing, receptions, pretty much. Everything is trending up. So you'll be able to see that quickly by looking at these graphs. You can see if a guy was, projecting up and up and up as he went through college, or maybe a guy was really good in his freshman year and then kind of fell off. Below that, you're going to see a skill set breakdown. I tried to do my best to narrow everyone's down to 8 skills. Okay. And again, these are like skills, not exactly like when people say like 3 down or like, stuff like that. Like that's not a skill. That's a projection. I'm looking at the actual skills like Bijan Robinson. Physicality is there. The vision is there. He can accelerate. He's explosive. He has a big frame, which will, that's more of a, sure, that is kind of the same thing as the 3 down, but you're going to see that it will matter because some of these other backs like Keaton Mitchell and Deuce Vaughn, they have small frames. So we need to note that, right? This one's the only one for the weakness where it's a little questionable because I was trying to be nitpicky, right? The reality is Bijan Robinson doesn't really have many weaknesses. I was trying to be nitpicky. On most of the other examples, you're going to see the clear-cut weaknesses kind of given with that X. There's a skill set breakdown. It should be pretty self-explanatory. If a guy can, for running backs in particular, if a guy can catch the ball, you'll see that in the skill set breakdown. If the guy cannot catch the football, you'll see that as a weakness. And if it's neither a strength nor a weakness, it just won't be there.
This X is a bit harsh.
Yeah, it is harsh for sure.
Yeah, because I was hoping he would get a better 40 time, but one time he kind of veered to the side when he ran it, and then it also was still pretty good. I was just hoping he would get the exact as Saquon or better, and he was a little bit slower, but I don't know. He's still fast.
Sure. Good enough, yeah, but it's not that elite home run speed from my eye at least. Again, I might end up changing the weakness at the end of the day, but I'm being very, very picky here. It's going to be either elite speed or ball security. So either or, it's being very, very picky. We can go on to the next half, if you will. Now you're going to have the combine stuff. Obviously, different players run different stuff. Different positions will have different metrics. We're doing our best here to show you everything. Obviously, you see the bench and the 3-cone are 0th percentile. He didn't do the bench press. He didn't run a 3-cone drill. So that's why they show as low values. The ones you want to be paying attention to are obviously the 40 time, the broad jump, the vertical that are there. You're going to have the percentiles as well. So you have the value 4.46. But let's say, hey, you're not a guy like Couch who knows on the top of his head 4.5 is the cutoff. Okay, what does 4.46 mean to me? Well, it means that he's in the 86th percentile of speed for running backs. So that's pretty good. That means he's 86.
He's better than 86. That's great for his size, by the way.
Right. So you can see that for the combine. There's going to be players who did not run the combine, such as Bryce Young. There will be a note in there. We'll cover either why they did not run the combine, or if it's not known, we'll just simply say he didn't show up for the combine.
Oh, that's a tough one, Marshall Faulk.
What do you think? You don't like it?
No. I mean, in terms of him in the NFL, That's good, but it's just funny because Marshall Falk was like he looks very normal. What was the word? More what's not pedestrian? What's the civilian? Marshall
Civilian,
Falk looks way more like a civilian,
really.
but he's incredible, of course.
I mean, hey,
you
then
know.
again,
But
Marshall
Bijan
Faulk
does
is
not look
also-
like a civilian.
okay, but Marshall Falk is an older running back, and you know the phrase that athletes are getting bigger and faster each and every year. So the style is the same, Couch. The style and the production
which
same.
is fine. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
if you're getting his stats and his style, that's what's important.
Wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be like, oh, this guy, his muscles are like this guy too. Like, no, but I mean that's a great comparison because Marshall Falk was amazing.
Yeah, that's the best comparison I've seen. It's the one that I like the most. I mean, we're gonna compare him to Saquon Barkley because one, that's recency bias with his name, and two, the fantasy value. But if we're really comparing him as a player, I think Marshall Falk is probably the best one. Probably the best one.
Okay, wow, that's a lofty comparison. Wow.
Oh yeah. Scroll up, by the way. We forgot one little thing before we get to the analytics. Before a little more up. Right here with the injury history. So I'm going to peel the curtain back just a little bit. It takes me about maybe an hour and a half, 90 minutes. And again, no break, like full 90 minutes to really go through a player's film and watch and kind of understand what the strengths and weaknesses are. It takes me about 90 minutes, okay? Then it takes me another 90 minutes to maybe set up, get the picture on Photoshop and do all that stuff and whatever, okay? So that's about 3 hours, fine. It takes me easily 3 hours to get the injury history because it's not available. So I am doing a lot of digging that no one else is doing when it comes to a player's injury history. You're going to see that reflected in the draft guide. The only thing I'm going to say is I'm going to do my best here to really dig into see what injury it is. Again, this is the college level. They are allowed to basically just pass off any injury as an undisclosed injury. They are allowed to do that. So from a strategic advantage, anytime you can do that, you will. So unfortunately, the problem that I run into is, a lot of times I'll see like a guy like Israel Abanikanda, for example, the Pittsburgh running back. He has like 5 injuries in his college resume, and then 3 of them are like undisclosed. I have no idea what they are, but I just have to say, hey, he's got undisclosed injuries. It'll go in ascending order from year. So most recent year, 2022, will be listed first, and then going back from there. And if there's anything serious before college, it'll be noted, but it has to be serious, right? Like I'm not going to say like, oh, he sprained like a knee in high school. Like if he tore his ACL in high school, I'll list that there too. Other than that, that's about it. Then we get to the analytics stuff. And I think this is going to be stuff that we're going to have, more conversations about as we go on with other players and evaluate other stuff. But what I would use this for, this is just me kind of, I'm not an analytics expert by any stretch of the means. I'm just kind of learning, kind of getting new here. The way I would use this is I would not pay much attention, Couch, to the actual number or the actual.
I don't even know what some
like
of these are, to be honest.
Sure. I would basically
look at these.
I'm going to try to explain to you as many of these as I can. So what I was saying is I wouldn't use like the actual percentile or whatever to judge. What I would say is like, hey, do they cross this threshold, which means is good or is it bad, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, let's just kind of go through each one of these and we'll kind of hash it out here. So the first one is relative athletic score. This basically measures how athletic you are based on your weight, right? So example, I'm a slimmer guy. I could look to the untrained eye more athletic than a NFL offensive tackle because I'm slimmer and that tackle is like a larger human. But that tackle could actually be more athletic than me. Relative athletic score puts a number value on how athletic you are. Okay? It's out of 10. The fact that he has a 9.86 is good. Again, I don't care about the number. Oh, his RAS is 9.86. Let's go. I don't care about that. His RAS is good. His RAS checks the box. That's all that I use the analytics for. I don't go too heavy in the numbers. I just simply say, does he cross the threshold? Yes, good. He checks the box. Let's move on. PFF rush grade, Pro Football Focus rushing grade, basically kind of tells you, it gives you the best idea possible of, how the guy's football IQ, right? Like, is he making the right cuts? Is he making the right reads? Is he doing the right stuff on each play? And again, this is a grade out of 100. So 96.1 is very good. Again, for this one, what you want to do is you want to find the outliers, right? Because think about this for a second, Couch. Which running backs get drafted into the NFL? Only the very best ones in college. If you're average in college, you're probably not going to get to the NFL. So if you think about it, every single one of these guys who are in this draft guide should have a high PFF rush grade because they're one of the best backs in all of college football.
I wonder what that running back on the Titans drafted a couple of years
Sean
ago
Haskins?
got.
Sure.
Nah,
I have no idea.
Ramondre Stevenson year.
Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna know his name.
I don't know.
20.
Either way.
We don't even remember his name.
It's not Julius Chestnut.
No. That's this past year. No, we're talking about like Ramondre Stevenson's year. So like that would be 2020.
Darrington Evans. There you go.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because you don't even understand why I'm saying it.
Do you have like a high PFF grade?
No, it's just the guy we talked about. Like I drafted him. I drafted Ramondre Stevenson in round 3 in a rookie draft, and then I drafted this. I had the back-to-back picks.
It
in
wasn't
the middle.
Deontay Foreman, was it?
That's a long. No, he was drafted by like the Texans like 10 years ago.
Okay, fine.
I'll find this.
Either as you're finding that, I'm just gonna finish up the thought on PFF rush grade. So, like I was saying, everyone here is a top runner in college football, so you would expect them to all have a high PFF rush grade. And in the case of Bijan Robinson, it's out of 100, 96.1, very good. There are going to be some running backs who do not have a high PFF rush grade. That's what you want to look for. That's how you want to use this from an analytical perspective. Again, you don't want to be too hung up in the fact of, oh, this guy's got a PFF grade of 96.1, while that guy has only got a grade of 93.2. Like, no. Forget about that. The bottom line is both of them have a good PFF rush grade. When I look at someone like Bijan who's got a 96, and I look at someone else, I think off the top of my head, I know that Zach Evans has a lower grade in the 70s, like 77. That's where I'm saying, oh, wow, Zach Evans has a problem in the PFF rush grade department. Let's move on.
Dude, Darrington Evans was so close. That's not him, though. That's not him.
Oh, who is it?
You're gonna understand it.
Who is it? Who?
Wait, I think he was undrafted.
He was undrafted?
Oh God.
Oh man.
Oh man, this is killing me.
I'll go over the last two, and then the other 4 we can probably go over at another time because it's more complicated. It's more.
What are you talking about?
Analytics.
Oh.
Yep. Last 2. These are. I don't even know how to explain this to you. People who know analytics will do a better job explaining. This is basically telling you how many rushing yards and receiving yards as a percentage, like the pie chart, if you will, they're getting on their respective teams. So, for example, when you look at the rushing yards for Bijan Robinson, and it says the MS rush yards, and it says 0.49. That means of all the rushing yards on the Texas Longhorns during Bijan Robinson's career, he has 49% of them. That's a lot. You're not going to see a running back who has 50% of their rushing production in their college career. That's insane. I think 0.49 is among the highest that we see. And again, you want to use this to basically, there's a threshold. I think the number is 0.25. I'm not sure. I'll look that up. I can comment, in the future. But basically, you want to use this number use the MS rush yards and say, okay, does this guy get a lot of production? If a guy only has 10% MS rush yards as a running back, he's probably, most of his stuff is probably as a returner, honestly, because that means he's not getting a ton of rushing production. You want to see something in that 25%, 33%, or in the case of Bijan Robinson, when you see 49%, that tells you, okay, wow, this is a guy who, the team in college really relied on Bijan Robinson to run the football. Same thing for receiving yards. Now, again, we're talking about running backs.
What about if there's like a running quarterback, though? Does that affect it?
Sure, a little bit, but I mean, you still want the starting runner on your team to have a healthy MS rushing yard share, if that makes sense. So I mean, think of it like Lamar Jackson, for example, right? Like, okay, you have Lamar Jackson, fine, but J.K. Dobbins should still have a healthy enough, running back share if you want to draft him. If he's getting absolutely if it's like a Buffalo Bills situation where it's like Josh Allen is a superior and then James Cook and Devin Singletary are nothing, like you're obviously not going to even consider drafting those two names at the price of J.K. Dobbins. Obviously, maybe it's an outdated example because Dobbins gets hurt a lot, but I think you get the point that I'm trying to get across.
Yeah. Dobbins is regarded as a guy who can get you 1K.
Yeah. And then moving on to MS receiving yards. For running backs, the target is 10%. The analytics guys are very hung up on this. They say if you have an MS receiving yard share at or very close to 10%, you can be regarded as a receiving back in the NFL.
What's Dameon Pierce's? Can we look this up?
Sure. You actually,
I don't know how,
because this is not available to everyone. I'm getting this from Campus to Canton.
All right, you look. I found it, by the way.
Oh, did you? Okay, nice.
I found the running back that the Titans got. I think he was undrafted, maybe.
Okay. What do we have?
Everyone's patient. So I have the 3.06 pick in a rookie draft. This is fun. Sure, I drafted a big bust, but it also makes me look smart. It makes me look kind of silly, but actually, but very smart at the same time. So I like that. So I drafted. Oh, it was the Falcons, and then I think they cut him, and he went to the Titans. This guy, Javon Hawkins. You don't remember this guy?
No, Devon Hawkins, not at all.
I think he got 0 NFL carries.
Yeah, I have.
You don't remember us talking about him on the?
No.
Yeah, so he was really bad. That's why I bring him up. Javion Hawkins. Running back for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Javion Hawkins. Hold on.
He's very undersized.
I think I am remembering him.
Yeah.
Javion Hawkins. Yeah.
He was actually.
No, I think I had him ranked high for a moment there, and then he didn't get drafted, and then I was like, it's over. Yeah. Hold on. Was he the guy that the Atlanta Falcons signed after the draft?
Yeah. Falcons. Okay. And then he got cut. He went to the Titans.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Titans, but I was close. Yeah. So the Falcons signed him first, cut him.
Sure.
Boy, did the Falcons need a running back.
For one hilarious thing, by the way. He's most famous for being Chris Sims' biggest bust ever. Because I think he had Javion Hawkins as like RB2 or RB3.
Damn, he was fast and everything, but that's a college running back for you.
Right.
He was small. Right. So that's why I brought him up. So what's funny is I drafted him, and then who did this clown take? One Nation 24. You probably watch. One Nation 24 loves us. He watches all our stuff. Oh, he took Nico Collins. That's kind of stupid. Whatever.
It's all right.
Stupid pick. Terrible pick. You know why?
I have the numbers for Damian.
You know why? Because what's his name? Javion Hawkins. That's free roster space, buddy. I bet you still have Nico Collins on your bench, wasting roster space, hoping he'll break out. And then 2 picks later, I draft Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, nice.
So, One Nation 24, you big dummy, you passed up on Ramondre Stevenson. How could you do that?
Wow. That's a
No,
great pick.
but
That's a great
I
pick.
saved it. I mean,
like
I
it.
really drafted what I don't even remember Javion Hawkins over Ramondre Stevenson, but then I saved it. I was about to be the big dummy, but I
Yeah.
saved it. Look at these
Saved
names. Who's that?
Island
Khalil
Hill?
Hill.
Ugh.
Isn't he like a bad special teamer? Essentially, like that's
Is he
his-
still in the league? I don't know.
I think so, but he's just like takes up like your taxi squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
not a
nothing.
guy you want on the team.
Like Mac Jones, that's a great pick. Evan McPherson's the one we made fun of the most, but I mean, it wasn't even that bad.
Not bad.
Like,
It's not bad.
De'Ami Brown, like these are the guys going here. Amari Rogers, these are the guys who went earlier. Got Ramondre Stevenson super late. It was a flyer, but
That's such a good pick.
Javion
Wow.
Hawkins. Whatever we were talking about, that's what was. Oh, PFF rush grade. I was like, what do we got for? Oh, you know what? I think it's very low.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I think it's very low too. Yeah. So Javion Hawkins could be probably one of the lowest in the class, which would make, I think it would make sense. Yeah.
That's probably why he didn't get drafted then, because coaches are saying he's just like a low IQ runner.
Or just tiny, like
tiny or whatever.
Nobody touched him, so he got some big plays. But
Sure.
like, he's got the speed. But that's
yeah.
Right,
you want me to pull up Dameon Pierce? What
did I ask? Dameon Pierce's MS receiving yards.
It was 0.03, so he only had 3%. So according to the analytics guys, Dameon Pierce is not.
Analytics guys dub. Analytics guys get a W.
That's what I'm gonna say. Exactly. See, that's what I'm
so
gonna.
So you're saying there might be something to the analytics there then.
Right. So what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna present these analytics to you guys, but I'm not gonna say that I agree with their processes. All right. I'll present it to you.
Dameon Pierce analytics were so bad, guys. They had to bring in Rex Burkhead, Royce Freeman.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Philip Lindsay. I don't know. Like, they were just bringing. I don't know. They were bringing in a bunch of names though. Like, oh, and then you're like, yes, I drafted Dameon Pierce. Yeah, he got 100 yards, 0 touchdowns. 0 receptions.
0 receptions.
Oh, he only got 10.6 fantasy points. I'm actually naming 1 week. This exactly happened, by the way, guys. I'm not making this. Yeah, it was 1 week that actually happened on the Texans. Yeah, his numbers fluctuated. I mean, his ceiling was capped because the team didn't score touchdowns. So that was it. I mean, he was just only had TD upside.
Yeah.
It's not even Dameon Pierce hate. It's just like, look, we play PPR. And if he's not getting touchdowns, he's not getting receptions. We already know that.
And that's a type of conclusion that I would not be able to come to when looking at a guy's film for college, right? Like when I'm looking at a guy's film, I'm looking at, okay, has he caught passes before? How often does he do it is one thing, but it's more of a can he do it type of thing when you're watching the tape. The analytics are giving you more of a context of how often is he doing it, right? And to kind of finish the thought here, that number should be close or about 10%. So with Dameon Pierce, 3%, and like you were saying, as we saw, not much of receiving running back there. With Bijan Robinson, you see it's 0.09, right? So 9%. It's pretty close. So he's not going to be like only a strictly receiving back, but he's clearly capable of being a receiving impact in fantasy football. I don't have Jahmyr Gibbs for you today. We're gonna save that. We're not gonna spoil that, but you're gonna see that his MS receiving share is
higher
insane.
than 0.03.
It's way higher than 0.03. It's also way higher than 0.10, man. It's like closer to 15-16%, which is kind of ridiculous for a running back. So that's what I like to use those 2 stats for. The rest we can talk about later when we go through other running backs.
We should do a condensed video for the website and for the main channel. I think just to go over it, and it'll kind of serve as a hype thing. But that was kind of long. We'll do like a way more condensed.
Yeah, we'll do everything else. Is gonna be,
and it's available here. It's all like so on and so forth.
Sure.
Gibbs, I feel like we talked about a lot. Can we move on?
Can
we move on, or do I have to mute your mic or cancel you or something? Make up an excuse. Yeah, I'm just joking. Like, I feel like we should move on, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we have these 3 guys here.
Zach Evans, Izzy, Devon Achane. Evans, 2 down, in between the tackles guy. Abanikanda, tough guy, play strength, all that stuff. Devon Achane, smallest running back on this graphic at least. My favorite one of the bunch because he's got that insane speed. He has the skill set and he has the production of a 3 down runner, just not the size, right? And that's going to be basically the whole thing for him is going to be where he's drafted, right? If he's drafted round 2, he's going to get that opportunity. If he's drafted round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe not. We'll see.
And guys, we actually did some live streams. If you guys want to watch, YouTube was killing our live stream, so we couldn't do it on YouTube. But it should still be available on Twitch. It is available on Instagram, and it should be available on Twitter and Facebook too. So you can go watch those live streams, like us reacting live to the film. So Shane clipped a lot of clips for all of these guys. So you can go back and watch that, and we have some film and our reaction and analysis. So it's pretty good if you want to see more of a deep dive. We will probably do another podcast as well on the same guys after the draft. So, for anybody saying like, oh, you guys just talked about a bunch of other stuff, didn't really go into the running backs. We did on the live streams, and I'm saying we will talk about these guys in the future again. So don't worry. You can check those out again on like Twitch, Instagram, and should be able to on Facebook and Twitter as well. The replays of those live streams. We did one for QBs and we did 2 for running backs.
Yeah.
All right, next guy's here.
Charbonnet is a fan favorite, like you mentioned earlier. He's a power back. He's getting nowadays round 2 NFL draft capital. If he gets that round 2 draft capital, he's probably going to be the 3rd running back taken in your rookie drafts. For me, I cannot get there just yet. It's not that I have anything against Charbonnet. I probably could get there at some point. I'm just not there yet. I don't think there's a clear-cut 3 while everyone else is kind of hung up.
Look at this.
Charbonnet.
Look at Fox Sports.
All right, let's see what we have.
What is this? That's a number 1. That's a number
Bijan.
2. And that's a number 3.
Okay.
I didn't read it, so I mean it's number 1, Bijan Robinson.
Makes sense. Number 2.
I was going to say the
Zach
concerns.
Charbonnet.
He basically said what
Yeah.
you said, not a super elite speed.
Tape don't lie, man.
Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
This is just regular football too, which is crazy because you were telling me
bro.
like he gets a boost in fantasy
He
circles.
gets a boost in
usually.
fantasy circles. Yeah, no.
That's
no,
so odd.
weird. It's weird because I'm convinced that the NFL does not believe him to be a 3-down back.
But this is to me, his strength is like he looks like a lead back.
Mhm.
He can somehow be a workhorse, even though it's like we already went over it. So just unlikely that anybody does that. But it's like, is that it? Like, that's it. Like, that's his biggest strength. And you're going to put him number 2? Because that's really all he has over Gibbs. Gibbs not going to get a ton of carries.
Yeah, that's all he's got.
And it's just like,
I think
it?
Gibbs is just way more talented at everything else. I don't know. I disagree with that one, but hey, people love Charbonnet. That this goes to show the point here.
Yeah, but this is one where like this is not fantasy circles. I mean, I don't know how legit this dude is. Rob Rain,
for sure.
Never heard of him, so I don't know. Probably
Basically, the idea here is that with this slide of runners that we're showing, you're basically just going to get role players, right? With Zach Charbonnet, I believe him to be a role player, which would be a power back in between the tackles. With Tyjae Spears, Eric Gregg, I feel that those guys are just going to be role players for the NFL teams that they're on, not 3-down guys. There's not really a whole lot of safety or security of what type of floor that they have. Obviously, you want to pay attention to the draft capital and the landing spot so you can kind of predict or project what type of opportunity these guys will have to see the field. That's going to be the bottom line here. But again, as far as talent goes, I think these 3, I guess these 6, if you include the other 3 guys ahead, would be kind of like a tier 2-ish as far as his talent goes, with not a significant drop-off into next year. But there is a significant drop-off, obviously, in my mind, between Bijan Gibbs and...
What about this guy, Rob Rain of Fox Sports? Do you agree with this? Quentin Johnson leads the prospects.
In what? Bust rate? Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I don't know about this guy, bro. This is why I clicked on the
Guy's
author.
sketchy,
I don't
dude.
know about this dude, bro.
Yeah, it's sketchy.
This is a bold take. Bijan Robinson stands out
Oh,
in
does he
the
really?
prospect class.
Oh, wow.
All right,
Okay.
well,
All right.
I don't know about this
All
guy.
right. He's gaining a little traction. Bijan Robinson. Good
This one,
scouting
it
guy.
might be actually his best one. Well, he's got Bryce Young number 1, CJ Stroud 2, and AR 3. I can understand that.
Fine.
I like that. I think that's like the smartest thing he said, but I don't know, dude. This one's bad, huh? This
I don't know.
Quinton Johnson leads the prospect.
It's not bad. It's just if you ask, people who actually played receiver, for example, like Steve Smith Sr., they don't like him.
He has a pretty good grasp on wide receiver prospects
great
too.
grasp.
Is what's cool is like he's actually has a good track record of knowing who's gonna be good and all that. Oh man, this guy. All right, I'm gonna get.
We'll
outta
get to
here.
him next week. Man,
Uh,
it's gonna be a very depressing wide receiver segment, but it's all right.
hey, that's
we'll
what
get it-
we
we'll get
need.
through
And then tight ends.
Yeah,
So,
that's
hey,
good though.
hey.
And then tight ends. Yeah,
It's a great draft class though. Overall, I feel
gonna be
like
fun.
it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be a lot of fun
exciting,
this
super
offseason.
exciting draft. Lots of quantity, lots of quality. It's I think teams and fantasy managers are both equally excited. Next one, or
Yeah, let's go on. Let's move on. D-Win McBride, huge back, good size, great size. Again, one of those kind of thumper in between the tackles, power backs. Mohamed Ibrahim, complete runner, has that ACL injury, serious ACL injury, which I am on the record saying I'm going to discard because he has showed his ability to make those cutbacks, move not just north and south, but also east to west as a runner.
and that happened
Both
2 years
injuries.
ago, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. He
2
was
years
going to be,
removed.
he was going to be a 2022 prospect. So he was supposed to be drafted last year in rookie drafts, but that injury obviously prevented that. Wanted to return to school. He came back, had a good year, proved to me that the injury is, water under the bridge, old news. He's fine.
And where would you
I'm gonna
say
be-
he would have got drafted if he didn't get the ACL and he came out into the NFL last year, third, fourth, fifth, or later? Out of the
Somewhere-
RBs, out of the rookie RBs, we got Brees Hall, Kenneth
Gotcha.
Walker.
For sure third.
Okay, good
Absolutely
thing. That's
third.
good. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we might get this guy for a significant discount then, because now he's
Yes.
coming out in a much stronger, deeper class, and he's got the ACL.
Sure. But I mean, that also are reasons to downgrade a running back, right? You have injury history now, and he's a year older. So it works both ways. But, from a value perspective, yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying he was going to be the third. That
Yeah.
means round one.
There's no chance he was going to be the 2. Like, don't get me wrong. This is one of those things where it'd be like a Brees 10 and then
Ken
a huge
Walker.
gap.
Yeah,
Sure,
we
but
love
he
Ken
could have
Walker.
easily been the 3. Absolutely. And then there's Tank Bigsby, right? Who actually at one point was the 3 in this year's class. He would have been, in a tier with Jahmyr Gibbs if we talked, 1 year ago.
I just want to go on the record and say I like him.
Okay. Which, hey, you know what? You going on the record saying you like him, that makes me feel a lot better about him. The one thing I don't like about him is that he's an upright runner, very high pad level. And that's unfortunately, in my opinion, at least, that's kind of his game. That's kind of the reason why he's so good, which it won't fly in the NFL. If he can figure it out or be successful with that, he's got it all, though. He can catch. He can work on the interior, work on the exterior. He has the frame to be able to take, carry that 3-down load. I mean, obviously, he probably won't be a 3-down back, but if the injuries do happen, he could be a guy who can get you 20 plus a game for a couple games in the year. Very talented runner. Prospect pedigree is very much up there. A lot of people are going to like him. A lot of people are not going to like him. A little bit polarizing in that regard. Not like a Anthony Richardson type, but to that extent. Again, you saying that you like him makes me feel a little bit more comfortable drafting him.
Yeah, question mark for sure.
Sure,
there
yeah.
with the upright running style, but overall, I do like him.
Sure. Next tier here, we're kind of getting into the average runners here, right? I kind of gave the analogy on the podcast. Hey, if I'm an older running back, like a veteran guy, I've been in the league for maybe 6-7 years, and my NFL team drafts, Bijan Robinson, how worried am I about my job? For a guy like Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm very worried because I think they would take over my job and steal it from me right away. Now we're getting into the tier where if my team drafts Chase Brown, Kenny McIntosh, or Sean Tucker, these are kind of average running backs to the point where it's like I'm not really worried that my job is on the line this year. Moving forward, in a season down the road, sure, but this is more like a guy who could probably help me out in terms of me for my longevity as a running back, take some of the load off, some of the tread off, for a season, and then kind of, help me out as well, being like, a dynamic runner, kind of complement the skill sets and whatever. As far as the skill sets that these guys do bring, pretty much do it all, right? Like Chase Brown, he can do everything. Sean Tucker, he can do everything. They're thicker running backs. They can pass block. They can pass catch. In between the tackles, outside zone stuff as well. They're just kind of mid-level, right?
I would go on the record and say I'd be a little bit more scared of my job security as an NFL running back if the team were to draft Sean Tucker. I'm going to say that on the record. Yeah,
Okay.
probably far from a workhorse, but
sure.
He could be, we could be splitting 50-50 here.
Okay.
Week
that's
one.
That's something we can talk about.
As week one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So,
I dig it. I really like the way he's built. The low center of gravity. So he could be a guy that I could target for sure if you like him.
But tandem, like I,
of course, yeah.
Tandem, like most teams, they're two-headed monsters. Yeah.
If the expectation is 3 down back at this point, you're going to be massively disappointed.
Yeah.
But, set the expectation a little bit lower, and you're going to get some good players here. Tier 4, Tier 5, we're kind of getting into the sleepers, the funner players. Kendre Miller, a lot of guys like him. Hunter Lipke, fullback. He's basically Kyle Juszczyk 2.0. I love him. Roschon Johnson, we talked about earlier. A pair of scat backs and Keaton Mitchell, Deuce Vaughn. Could provide some PPR upside potentially.
What I said about Roschon Johnson, massively underrated.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted by everybody.
I think there's
underrated.
There are people who feel exactly how you feel about.
Oh yeah. We're growing in numbers. We're a strong community.
That too.
Yeah.
But also there's another breed who feels the exact same way you feel about Kendre Miller. They think he's also equally as
Miller fan club is growing in numbers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ah.
So that's kind of why I had the Kendre Miller and Roschon Johnson kind of in this tier.
We might have to get rid of a tier because it's tough. It's
tough,
really
yeah.
tough.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to get rid of tier 4 and just move a bunch of these guys up.
Yeah, maybe move Keaton Mitchell and Deuce Vaughn down because they are significantly undersized. Really shifty, really explosive, electric players. Pass catching upside, so PPR is going to be there. 3rd down back role will be their projection, but it's tough sledding after that. And then after that, we got the tier 5, which is, I guess I'm going to call him the best of the rest, right? Chris Rodriguez, super mid. Roderick Townsend, super mid. Evan Hull, the incredible Hull. I like him, but that's more of me being a homer. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm the only reason why I'll be drafting Evan Hull is because he went to Northwestern, and that's in the state of Illinois, which is where I live. Other than that, I think he's just kind of mid. I know you were kind of getting lukewarm to him.
He stood out to me as in like I couldn't stop thinking about him. It was very weird because his 40 time, it wasn't bad. He didn't look that fast though when we watched the film. His jukes looked very weird. He was juking them and he was doing it, but they were so wide and so slow. Like I was talking about, it's
the
like
jump cuts, right?
Push the R1, you hold down the R1 on the controller and you push it hard when you're supposed to just hit it quick, do a quick juke. He was like the ocean waves. But he's catching, he's getting the job done. He's got a little bit of everything. He really stood out to me. Yeah, proven workload. He carried the team. He led the team. Now, out of these three, like, do you think all three will go undrafted, or is it hard to say, or just, I mean, definitely day 3, right, in the NFL
I would
draft.
say of the guys who I'm penciling in as undrafted, I think these 3 have the best chance to get drafted. How about that? Because there's other guys that I didn't mention.
There's a few other. There's like 5 other running backs, and those
5
guys will
other running
probably.
backs.
So these
Yeah.
guys could be like round 7. You're saying?
Yeah, round 6, round 7 for sure.
Okay.
I could even see round 6 because, I mean, again, like, I don't see that much of a gap between. Well, actually, no, I kind of do. No, I take that back. No, it would be round 7. It would be round 7 for sure, not round 6.
Evan Hall, like, I mean, we see like a guy like Rex Burkhead carve out a pretty big role.
Yeah.
In the NFL. I mean,
that could be a similar.
Evan Hall could be a little bit better than Rex Burkhead.
Sure. More complete.
I really do see that. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, man. I think Evan Hall gets drafted, and you're going to be drafted, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I'm going to really be targeting him round 5. And just like Rex Burkhead, for example, if that running back on that team gets hurt, I mean, we got a guy who can get you PPR points. We got a guy who can get you goal line touchdowns. I mean, he can do it all. So that's why I was excited for him. But and the combine not bad, but man, on film, it didn't look that great.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's just weird, man. Sometimes that combine number, it's like it lies, huh? That 40 time.
Or they trained for it. You know, they trained specifically for that.
Well, yeah, as I said, Bijan may have. I mean, I don't know. He didn't look like he ran it well, but then I think the second time he ran it, well, I may have got it mixed up, because they have 2 trials.
Sure, yeah. So one of them was bad, one of them was good.
One of them, it seemed like he ran it wrong.
Oh yeah, I know.
And then the next time he ran it, his line was worse though. The time was worse. So like it's hard. It's just so hard to. I'm like okay, he didn't veer off to the side, but then he got it was even slower. So it's like it's so hard to say. So I'm like in my mind, I'm like, how about if he ran it straight and ran it good, and maybe this could be slightly faster than even Saquon. Like it's just so hard to tell because it's a guy, who's maybe not used to running that format, that kind of like a track meet with no helmets, no pads. It's hard to say. It just gives us a good idea. And he did well, but it's like, I don't know, maybe Evan Hall was like strictly trained for this. Like, this is all I got is the 40 time.
Yeah,
you strictly trade for that, and he ran a decent 40. Which
under 4.5, right? I know you like that.
Something like under 4.5. Yeah, it was I think 4.47.
Nice. Good.
Was surprising.
I'll be excited if he gets drafted. Not a lot of guys from our state go play football professionally. So
is this more Danny Woodhead size actually, which is
best comparable?
Danny Woodhead, I think, is like 5'8". He's small. No, he's small. He's smaller. 5'8", yeah, 5'8", 195.
So that's Devon Achane.
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
That's not that bad of a comp. I mean, it's not something I would say, but yeah, I mean, it's not that bad of a comp. Like,
okay, I don't want you to click the next comp though. Now we're getting to that Duke Johnson territory. No, thank you.
That's Eno Benjamin.
Yeah. No thanks.
God, there was a lot of truthers as far as Duke Johnson being a prospect.
Yeah. Benjamin still gets some love, actually. Just goes to show if you get Evan Hall, you can still get something for him, even if he's not doing much.
Look at my comp, bro. 5'10", 214, 5'10", 209.
That's pretty good. I like it.
It's not that bad. And I'm trying to be like more realistic, like, I mean, this guy's much older now, right?
He was drafted where? Round 6, 22?
Yeah, late round 6. Like it's a pretty like decent, and I'm giving like kind of a low. Like obviously he's not that fast, and now when he's like once he reached the age of like 31, right now he's turning 33. Is like he's basically toast now. But
yeah, for sure.
Young Rex Burkhead, little bit faster, maybe a little better.
Could be.
Man, we might be starting this guy. I don't know. He just stuck with me. I'm a fan.
Nice.
I'm a fan.
Hey, if you're a fan, I'm an even bigger fan than now.
I wasn't at first. At first, I was not, and then he just kept growing on me, and I was like, "Dude, he can catch." Like he's not bad. Like
Oh,
he
okay.
he's got to
Okay.
get. If he goes undrafted, you're gonna be lower on him, right?
If he goes undrafted, yeah, I'll be lower on him.
Rather than if he goes round 6.
Oh yeah, round 6 is gonna be. I'll be one of those guys who's gonna try to not draft in round 4. Be like, oh, don't do it. But then it might happen, you know.
As far as the NFL team goes, if they got an undrafted running back, the odds of them cutting him just go up drastically. I'm sure.
Astronomically, yeah.
Yeah, because
You want
he's
the
just
draft
fighting for his life
Mhm.
at that point. And what I think what sucks is that undrafted running back is a good chance he'll get cut again from the next team, and then maybe even cut again from the third team. Like it's hard to. You just got to kind of find an NFL team that's kind of desperate for a 4th or 3rd running back.
Yeah, you need
And
the
make that
Ravens when they
team.
have no one there, and then they start
Yeah,
signing people, you know.
or hop on as special teamer or something,
Right,
like because
right.
it's
Be a special team.
so hard. Like most teams do have 3 running backs that they like. You know, two good running backs, and then like one maybe like special team running back.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean
that's
that's tough.
kind of how it is. You're right, though. Unfortunately.
Well, I think that's it for the podcast. I think we're done. We went 2 hours. This was great. I love the rants in the beginning about quarterbacks. We
fun.
will go live next week. We'll be looking at wide receivers.
Oh my
We'll-
god, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind, Couch. It's a lot of headaches. Ugh. See, with
Look,
running backs, there's a lot of good, right? Running backs are the
Yeah.
strength of the class. Quarterbacks are fun. Wide receivers, I don't have fun with wide receivers. I get to the point, and it's not gonna be fun.
I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm gonna be able to find some value.
Okay.
I'm gonna capitalize on other people's mistakes.
Okay,
Telling you,
okay.
let them draft some of these
Okay.
bums. Well, I'm gonna get some of these value picks. I'm all about value, like you just saw
Sure.
in the film where I got Ramondre Stevenson.
Third
It
round.
happened.
Oh, disgusting. What a pick.
Mid to late 3.07.
What a pick.
That's
Nice.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm excited about wide receivers, and then I'm also excited because after that we're gonna do tight end. So we're gonna do a live stream, guys. Make sure you're following on Twitch. You know, we're gonna live stream same time on Instagram. Everything's Fantasy Couch. So you can check out the live stream where we're going to be watching film, live reactions, live commentary, live analysis with film from all the prospects. And then we're going to sum it up in a podcast like this. So, you know, you won't miss anything. Make sure you're following on Twitch, Instagram, so you don't miss that. YouTube won't allow it for some reason. It's too much film. We're doing wide receivers. Then we'll do the same thing with tight ends. We do the live streams, watch film. Then once we gather our thoughts, later date, we do a podcast, wide receivers, then tight ends. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Thank you so much for listening or watching to this podcast. We'll see you guys on the next one.